The drama begins with the female lead, Era, who is a student and together with her friend Spoil, is trying out all the college clubs because, according to their college rules, all students have to join one club, but Era doesn't like any of them. Era tells her friend, "Why don't we create our own club in something we are interested in?" Then they both go to the principal's office. When they go to the office, a student named Alan is already there, who has also come to get his club opened. His club is based on no human photography. Meanwhile, Era's friend, Spoil, was just staring at Alan because she started to like him. But Era doesn't like Alan at all because he is very famous in school. Alan gets permission to open the club because they have 5 complete members, but Era does not have 5 members. And she tells the teacher, "I want to open a club where people are fond of 90s music." At first, the teacher finds this strange, but the teacher tells her to find the 5 members. Alan tells her, "You can join my club," but Era refuses. Then they both come and discuss it, and Spoil asks one of her friends to join the club, and she agrees. Then they both pay a fellow student to join their club. Now they are short 1 member, so Era goes to her friend named Liftoil, who is also the son of Era's relatives, and asks him to join the club. He agrees immediately. He agrees to everything Era says because, in childhood, whenever he had a problem, Era would stay with him and help him. Era is very happy after completing her 5 members and is listening to 90s music. Then a flashback is shown, in which when Era was a little girl, her father had passed away. She used to cry a lot remembering her father. Then, her mother would play her the songs sung by her father. Since then, Era has liked 90s songs. Era then goes to the teacher, reports her 5 members, and gets a room. When she comes to room 305 as told by the teacher, she opens the door and sees that Alan's group is already sitting there. Seeing this, she closes the door again. Just then, Alan comes and tells her, "Both our clubs have 5 members each, so we have been given the same room, in which half is ours and half is yours." Hearing this, Era gets very angry. Just then, another boy named Sky, who is Era's childhood friend, is also present there. But they haven't gotten along since childhood, and like in their childhood, they start fighting with each other again. And Era says a lot to him and goes into the room. Later, when Sky is with his friend, whose name is Gent, and who is very rich and also helps his club friends, he asks Sky, "Who is this girl?" Sky tells him, "This is Era, and she is a very strange girl." In the next scene, when Era and her group come to the room, a new boy is standing there named Neo, who is very famous on social media and is also a singer. He asks to join Era's club, but Era says, "Our 5 members are complete. You can join Alan's group." But Spoil takes her aside and says, "We should include Neo in the group because he is very famous on social media and we will also benefit from it." Era understands, and when she turns back to tell Neo he can join, Sky has already included Neo in his group. They get into a fight, after which they decide that Neo will be in Era's group one day and in Alan's group the next. Then Era puts up tape to partition the room, and a member of Alan's club named Pock, who is very interested in sports, helps her. Then Era starts talking to Pock. She likes Pock's nature. Era's group is enjoying 90s music, and Alan's group is sitting and making fun of them. Sky says, "This Liftoil is so strange. He follows Era around all the time." And his friend Spoil laughs in such a way that all her teeth are visible, and then everyone starts laughing. Just then, the door opens forcefully, and a girl comes in and asks in a strange voice, "Which one is Era's club group?" The girls tell her, and she goes to Era's club because she is the 4th member of the group. Then, when the 5th member of Era's group arrives, all the boys are stunned to see her. She is very beautiful, and she says, "There are all boys here, I have to go outside." And then, Era also goes outside. There, Era meets a boy named Play. He is a musician and also flirts a lot. He asks Era the reason for opening a 90s music club, and Era tells him, "I like 90s songs." Then he plays a 90s beat and asks her, and Era tells him which song it is. Play gets impressed by her and comes closer to Era and starts flirting with her. Era pushes him away and comes to the club room from there. There, Gent has brought lockers for everyone, and seeing this, Play and Era are surprised. Gent had put a fan in the locker for Era so that she would not feel hot. For this, Era thanks him, and then Gent asks for her social media ID. At first, she doesn't tell him, but upon his repeated asking, she gives the ID. Era starts to like Gent's nature a little bit. Then, when the teacher is giving a class, the teacher says, "The writer is afraid of falling in love." So Era starts thinking about it. Then, Era and Spoil both come outside and are talking. Spoil asks her, "Which of these 7 boys do you like? I will try to make the other boys my boyfriend, leaving the one you like." So Era says, "I don't like any boy. They are all fools." Spoil is surprised to hear this and leaves. A little later, Liftoil comes to Era. He tells Era, "You are always so serious. You should smile sometimes." And then Era starts to smile strangely, which makes Liftoil laugh. Later, when Era's group is listening to a song in the room, Gent likes the song very much, but Sky gets irritated by it and crosses the line. He goes to Era and turns off the tape recorder. Era gets very angry but is not able to say much. Then she comes to Liftoil and scolds him, saying, "You should have helped me fight with Sky." And she sees that Liftoil was writing a love letter to someone. She tries hard to see it but cannot. The class gets over. Spoil and Era are both going out. Sky tells her, "I will drop you home." As they are heading home, on the way they see that Pak is busy with his girlfriend and Play is also flirting with a girl. Then that girl throws water on Play, and here Pak also seems to be very annoyed with his girlfriend. Sky and Era were watching them from a distance. Sky gives Era a tape. They both reach Era's house, where her mother gives lunch to Sky as well and asks Era, "Is this your boyfriend? Are you dating him?" She says, "No, it's nothing like that." Then her mother forces her to date some nice boy, but Era doesn't like this. The next day when Era goes to school, she sees a letter in her locker on which "I love you, Era" is written. Seeing this, she gets angry and quietly throws the letter in the dustbin so that no one finds out. But Liftoil sees it and picks up the letter and says, "Why did you throw it away?" Then he starts reading the letter and gets sad seeing "I love you, Era." Just then, Neo comes and takes that letter and shows it to everyone and reads it aloud. Then Liftoil takes that letter, shows it to everyone, and says, "Who wrote this letter to Era?" No boy answers, and Era leaves from there in anger. Just then, Spoil comes. She tells Era, "I wrote that letter so that all the boys would think that someone else likes Era and they would all focus on me. Only look at me." Hearing this, Era gets very angry. She says, "Why did you do this to me? You are my friend and you are doing this to me." To which Spoil also gets angry and says, "You are saying it as if I have committed some big crime. I had asked you about all this, that if you like any boy, I will try to make the rest my boyfriend, leaving him. But you refused at that time, and now why are you feeling bad about what some boy will think about you?" And Spoil leaves from there in anger. Era then starts crying a lot. Just then, Alan comes there, and he comforts Era and gives her his handkerchief. At that moment, Era thinks that not all boys are bad, and then she comes home. At night, when she's on her laptop, she starts remembering things from the past. When she was in 10th grade, there was a boy who was a very good friend of hers. She used to spend a lot of time with him. Then Era asks him, "Do you like me?" But that boy refuses, calling her just a friend, which breaks Era's heart. Then, when Era is in 11th grade, she makes another friend who helps her a lot. Era asks him too, but he also refuses, calling her just a friend. Era is very hurt that time too. And then, the third time, when a boy who had become a very good friend of hers, whom Era also started to like, she asks that boy, "Do you like me?" He says, "I am already in a relationship. I don't like you, you are just my friend." Era's heart breaks once again, but she doesn't lose courage. And then one more time, she becomes friends with another boy who comes to drop her home daily. So she asks him, "You come to drop me home every day? Do you like me?" He also says, "No, you are just my friend." This hurts Era a lot and she thinks, "From now on, I will never be friends with boys." After that, she becomes friends with Spoil. Then she doesn't stay in contact with any boy, and Spoil, while staying with Era, never gets into a relationship. In the next scene, Era and Spoil's friendship is restored. Their anger ends. Then when she goes to college again, she sees that someone has put a teddy bear in her locker. Then she goes to Spoil and says to her, "You did this to me again. Are you my friend or what?" Spoil says, "I didn't do all this." Era doesn't believe her. Then Spoil says to her, "If I did all this, may I never find a husband and may I never get married." Spoil had never said anything like this before, so Era believes her and says, "I don't know who is joking with me." Spoil says, "No one is joking. Someone really likes you. And it's one of the 7 boys from our club because no one knows about our club keys except these 7 boys." Era doesn't believe any of this, so Spoil tells her, "You are going into the elevator. The first boy who comes into the elevator is the one who likes you." At first, she doesn't believe any of it, but when the elevator opens, she sees that all 7 boys are standing there and start smiling. Then, everyone gets into the elevator, and Gent asks Era, "Why are you so worried?" At this, Sky starts making fun of her again. So Era doesn't say anything there, and as soon as the elevator opens, she comes out, and all the boys are surprised about what happened to her. Going to the washroom, Era records in her diary, "I don't want to become that Era again who gets rejected by everyone." Then when she comes back, she says to Spoil, "We have to find the teddy bear boy." Then they play the song Inside the Teddy Bear and note all the boys' reactions, but they don't understand anything. Meanwhile, Sky says, "Turn off this song. I'm getting irritated by it." Spoil tells Era, "I have another idea to find the boy." They both check the CCTV footage. As the boy is about to put the teddy bear, a lizard comes on the camera, due to which it cannot capture the boy's face. Only the shoulder is visible. So Era says, "Now how will we find that boy?" Spoil tells her, we can guess because all the boys have different shoulders. Then Era says, it can't be Liftoil because I've been seeing his shoulder since childhood, and it can't be Play either because he is always with girls to flirt. It can't be Pak either because he already has a girlfriend. Neo is my junior. He can't do such a thing. Spoil says, then this could be the work of Alan, Gent, or Sky. So Era says, no, I don't get along with Sky, and Alan wouldn't do such a thing. He is always busy with his studies. And from Gent's nature, I don't think he would do such a thing. She gets very confused and thinks, who is playing a prank on me? Then, coming home, she records in her diary, who is this teddy bear boy? Just then, her mother also hears these things, and her mother starts teasing her, to which Era says, it's nothing like that. The next day, when she goes to school, Spoil tells her, I'll put up pictures of all the boys on the board and we'll throw a dart. Whichever boy it lands on is the one who gave the teddy bear. The first dart lands on Liftoil. So Era says, Liftoil is like my cousin. Take him off the suspect list. Then the second dart lands on Pak, and then they start the investigation with Pak. Era asks him about his ex-girlfriend. Then they both go to play tennis, and he tells her, you play better than my ex-girlfriend. Just then, Era understands that he has broken up. Then she asks, have you ever given a teddy bear to any of your girlfriends? To which he says, no, I haven't. Then Era gathers the courage to ask, did you give me the teddy bear? To which he says, are we a couple that I would give you a teddy bear? Hearing this, Era goes quiet. Then she starts playing 90s music for Pak, which makes Pak sad because he had broken up with his girlfriend. And he asks Era, do I look like a fool? To which Era says, no, the person who falls in love becomes a fool. Then they were leaving for home when a dog comes on the way and starts barking at both of them. Pak steps forward and protects Era from the dog, which reminds Era of a 90s song about how a hero saves a girl. Coming home, Pak is thinking about Era and picks up his mobile to text her. But then he remembers his girlfriend, so he doesn't text and starts thinking about something. Here, Era is listening to an old song when her mother comes and starts telling her story. How your father proposed to me and we got married. Era starts smiling and thinks that someone has given me a teddy bear too. The next day, when Era is partitioning her club room with Liftoil, Pak comes there and gives her a water gun, saying, if a dog ever comes in front of you again, you throw water on it. It won't bark at you. Just then, Alan says, throwing water on a dog makes it chase you more. You shouldn't do that. Because of this, Pak doesn't give it to Era, but Liftoil feels very bad seeing this. Here, when Spoil finds out that Pak has broken up, she says, Pak must have placed this teddy bear. But Era says, I don't think so because he told me that he has never given a teddy bear to any girl to this day. Then Spoil tells her to aim at the next boy, and that boy is Neo. Now their target is Neo. When he is performing, they see that Neo is also singing a 90s song, which makes them suspect that Neo gave the teddy bear. Just then, Neo comes there and plays a song from Era's recorder, which everyone starts listening to, but Sky doesn't like it and once again turns off the tape recorder, which makes Era very angry, and they both start fighting. All the boys look at them in surprise. Then, in anger, Sky spills coffee on Era's shoes, which makes Era very angry. Then Sky says, tell me your shoe size, I will get you a new one. And Spoil starts telling him the shoe number, to which Era angrily says, there is no need for that. And all the boys are looking at both of them in surprise. Neo starts cleaning Era's shoes to end their fight, but Era, to show Sky, leaves from there. Liftoil also follows her and tries to calm her down. Just then, Play also arrives. He also tells Era, just think, your shoes were black anyway, and tries to calm her down, but Era gets angry. And when she comes out, Sky starts following her. She quickly goes home and calls Spoil and says, I don't think Neo is the kind of boy who would give me a teddy bear. So Spoil says, okay, tomorrow we will aim again and move on to some other boy's target. The next day, the teacher gives a lecture on body language, where she explains, whenever a person lies, they move their eyes to the left side. Then the teacher tells two students to team up and gives them an assignment, to which Spoil says to Era, I don't want to team up with you because everyone thinks we are dating. So Era starts laughing. Spoil says, no boy looks at me because I am with you all the time. Then, when Era opens her locker, she sees that there are expensive shoes there, and with it is written, this is for Era with Smiling Bear. So Era gets worried and thinks, who is this Smiling Bear? And she calls Spoil and shows her. Then, going to a restaurant, they both discuss who is giving all this. First a love letter, then a teddy bear, and now these shoes. So Spoil says, I think Sky must have given it because he must have felt guilty. To which Era says, no, Sky never wears such expensive shoes himself, so why would he give them to me? Then Spoil says, it must be Gent because he is very rich. To which Era says, if he is rich, it doesn't mean he would give shoes to just anyone. Then Spoil says, it could be Pak. So Era says, no, if it were him, he would have given me sports shoes. Then Spoil says, it must be Play. To which Era says, he is a flirt. He has so many girlfriends, he can't give shoes to just one. To which Spoil then says, Alan? To which Era says, Alan is not the kind of boy who gives gifts to someone, and neither Neo nor Liftoil can do this. Then Spoil, getting worried about all this, tells her to use the teacher's formula. Whichever boy moved his eyes to the left side, it means he is the one who gave the shoes. Era does the same. When she wears them and goes, Neo says, these shoes would have been better if they were pink. And Liftoil says, oh, you also got new shoes. Pock says, if these were sports shoes, they would have looked better. Meanwhile, Play says, I have told you before that black shoes look good on you. When she goes to Gent, he looks at her and says, the shoes look good on your feet. After that, Alan says, these shoes look like some singers. Wait a minute, shoes like this belong to Justin Bieber. Where did you buy them? Hearing this, Era gets confused. She comes and tells Spoil that all the boys were looking to the left side. So Spoil says, this means all the boys are lying. But Era says, no, 6 are lying and I haven't asked Sky yet. So Spoil gets excited and says, then it's definitely Sky. Era goes to Sky's house. At first they both start fighting. Then Era asks him, did you gift me the shoes? To which Sky says, I would rather die than give you any gift. This makes Era feel very insulted, and she comes back. On the way, she gets a message from an ID that says, take care of your shoes from Smiling Bear. She understands that this is the one who sends her gifts secretly. She goes and tells this to Spoil. Spoil accepts his ID. Just then, a call starts coming, which scares them both. Then, gathering courage, Era attends the call, but there is no voice from there. She keeps saying, hello, hello. Then she hears a voice. Somewhere a teacher is saying, tuck your shirt into your pants. They both only hear this. They run to the club room to note which boy's shirt is out of his pants, to whom the teacher was saying this. But when they go, everyone's shirt is inside their pants, except for Alan's. They both ask Alan the reason for this, and he says, chewing gum got stuck on my pants, so I hid the pants with this shirt. Then they both become quiet, and Liftoil is noticing their actions. He tells them both, have you both gone mad? Why have you been staring at the boy's legs for so long? At this, they both become quiet, and Spoil tells Era, we can catch him red-handed by calling. When she calls, no boy even moves from there. Just then, Gent picks up his mobile and bag and goes out. She also goes out after him, but they don't find out anything because Smiling Bear had cut the call. Spoil gets irritated with all this and leaves from there. Just then, Pock arrives, who is scared of a fly, and Era saves him from the fly, for which he thanks Era, but Neo doesn't like all this at all. He grabs Era's hand and takes her aside. They go out and eat ice cream, and then Neo tells her, taste my ice cream. It is very good. At first, she refuses, but then she tastes it. Neo starts cleaning the ice cream on Era's lips with his hands, and Era finds this behavior very strange. Then Neo says, I am very sad today. Can I lie in your lap? Era flatly refuses this. Then he says, if you let me lie in your lap, I will remain a member of your club for the whole year. Hearing this, she agrees and lets him lie in her lap, but she is finding all this strange. She can't even breathe. He gets up after 5 minutes and says, you are very magical. My headache disappeared in 5 minutes. And it seems strange to her why he is doing all this foolishness. Then, when they are both about to leave, Neo gets very busy on his mobile, to which Era asks, do you have a Facebook account? He says, I have 5 accounts because I sell products. Hearing this, Era is surprised. Then he comes live and introduces Era to all his friends. Then, when Era is going home, Gent arrives and tells Era, it is going to rain in a short while. Come, I will drop you. Then Era sits in his car. Gent offers her food at a restaurant, so they both go to the restaurant, where the food is very expensive. Era gets worried just looking at the menu. Gent tells her, don't you worry, I will pay the bill. You can order whatever you want. Then she orders for herself, and when Gent starts to come closer to her, she feels a strange attraction, and Gent smiles and sits in his place. Just then, a violin starts playing. Gent asks her something, but she doesn't understand in the noise. Then he starts asking about the restaurant. How did you like it? Era says, this is very expensive. Don't bring me here again in the future. Gent tells her, I have brought many of my friends here for dinner before this, and I have also fed your club's member, the ghost girl, here. Hearing this, Era is surprised. She thought he was doing all this just for Era, but he is kind to everyone. Then he drops Era home and also gives her an umbrella because it is raining. Era goes home and starts thinking about this because today she felt good with Gent. In the next scene, when Era comes running to school, she gets a text from Smiling Bear that says, why are you late today? Go to class quickly. When Era goes, she sees Alan's poster there. Just then, Alan also arrives, and Era starts coughing. Hearing this, Alan gets worried and says, do you have a fever? And starts to check her. This is the first time a boy had touched Era's face. Then he says, you have a fever, let me take you to the doctor. But Era refuses and comes and sits in the club room. Alan brings a blanket and a pillow for her there and says, you didn't want to go to the doctor, so take this and rest right here. Then Era can't sleep, so she starts listening to songs. Alan asks her, can I cross the line and come to you? So Era says yes to him. And then Alan comes and takes off her earphone and puts his handkerchief on her eyes and says, you will get good sleep in the dark. And then he tells her, you rest and sleep, and he himself sits at the door so that no one goes inside and disturbs Era's sleep. Seeing this, Era is very impressed and starts to smile. Alan is also smiling. In the next scene, when Era gets up and comes out, Neo is sitting on the way and he says, I didn't go inside the room because Alan was not letting me go inside. Hearing this, Era is very happy in her heart because she knows why Alan was not letting him go inside. Then Neo tells her, I have got a sponsor to promote a couple. Will you be my model? At first, Era refuses, but upon Neo's repeated insistence, she agrees. She goes a little further and Gent is sitting there, taking a picture of a cat. And then he starts taking Era's picture too, which Era herself does not like at all, but Gent likes it a lot. Then she goes to Alan, and Alan is practicing there. He leaves his practice and comes to Era, and she thanks him for helping so much and gives him cotton candy. But Alan says, I will open this when I get home because I don't know how to open a rubber band. And then she teaches him how to open a rubber band. Both of them start to smile. Then, going home, Era also records this matter in her diary because she found it very funny. The next day, Neo goes to Era's house and meets her mom. Then he tells Era, wear this t-shirt and come, we will promote it. But Era, seeing the shirt, says, this is too big. And then Neo tells her, you wear this and come, it will look good on you. Because it is a couple shirt. When they both wear the couple shirt and Neo goes live, all his fans ask, is this your girlfriend? At first he says yes, and Era is shocked. Then he tells them, I was just kidding, she's just my friend. And then, wearing the t-shirt, they start getting closer to each other. And then their promotion ends, and they both come out and start talking, and Neo helps Era's mother with the cooking, so her mother is very happy and says, you should come to our house again. And then, when Era meets Spoil, she tells her all the incidents of that day, how first Alan helped her, and then how she was close to Neo. So Spoil says, I suspect both of them. One of them is the smiling bear. In the next scene, Era gets stuck in the elevator and starts shouting. Just then, Pac sees her and starts to open the elevator with force, taking off his shirt. After a while, Era is standing behind him and asks, what are you doing? He says, you were stuck inside the elevator, so I was getting you out. She says, the security guard got me out. And then they both smile. This time, Era sees a plant in the locker, which had come from the smiling bear. Just then, Gent arrives, so she quickly closes the locker. Gent gives her some pictures that he had clicked. He also gives her Spoil's picture and says, today is World Smile Day. You should keep smiling all day. She gives those pictures to Spoil as well, seeing which Spoil becomes happy and says, I think Gent is confused whether to have a relationship with you or with me. Era also agrees with her. The next day, the teacher takes a class and gives the children an assignment on human emotions and music. Era is very worried about this, and just then, Play arrives, and she asks Play for help. So Play tells her, okay, you come to the garden. I will help you. Then Era, Spoil, and Liftoil, all three go to the garden. Spoil goes to get water, and Liftoil starts feeling hot. So he turns on a small fan and tells Era, you come near me, so that we both get some air. And then he brings his face close to Era, which makes Era feel uneasy, and she says, I don't want any air. Here, Play is playing that music, and everyone is making videos of him. Everyone is clicking his picture. So Spoil also tells Liftoil to click a picture, so he starts clicking pictures with a smile. Then Play plays a tune and asks Era, what tune was this? She says, it was a sad tune, and then tries to judge the tunes but cannot judge them, to which Play says, it is a love tune. And Liftoil starts to interrupt their conversation because he is feeling jealous. This makes Play very angry. Liftoil says that the camera battery is dead, and the assignment is complete, after which they leave from there. Then the three of them go to a club together. There, Play's friend plays a song. Another of his friends is also sitting nearby. Spoil says, this song is being sung by Play for Era, but Era doesn't believe it. Then his friend tells him, I have sung this song at Play's request. Era understands and starts smiling. And then she goes to drink water, so Play goes there and tells her, why don't you have a drink? She refuses and says, if I drink, I lose my senses completely. And then they both drink, and the scene cuts. In the morning, Era is lying next to Liftoil and gets up and starts screaming, what am I doing here? I haven't done anything wrong, have I? So Liftoil shows her a video in which Era and Spoil were acting like crazy people. Spoil calls Play her husband, and Era goes on stage and starts dancing badly, and then she pours water on herself on the road and starts stopping a taxi and vomits on Play. Seeing all this in the video, she is shocked and gets worried about what Play must be thinking about her. Here, Play was smiling, thinking about Era. He was also liking the shirt on which Era had vomited. He had started to like Era. On the other side, Liftoil makes breakfast for Era, and then they both drink milk, and Era starts to feel good with Liftoil. Era asks her mother, what is Liftoil to me? So her mother tells her, You are not brother and sister. He is your uncle's son. Hearing this, Era becomes quiet, and her mother says, you two can get married if you want to. Era finds these things very strange. Then, in the past, it is shown that when Liftoil used to play with a yo-yo, he didn't know how to play it, so he used to cry, and Era used to help him. Then, in the present, when Era goes to school, Liftoil has a yo-yo. Liftoil starts playing with the yo-yo and brings Era close to him. Era finds it strange and moves back. When she comes home, her mother tells her, today Liftoil and his mother are coming to stay at our house. Just then, Liftoil's mother and Liftoil arrive. They eat dinner together and are very happy because Liftoil's mother shows Era photos of their childhood, and she tells both of them, you should sleep together. When they are sitting outside talking, Liftoil smells her t-shirt and says, you smell so nice. Era is surprised. Then Liftoil thanks her, saying, in childhood, whenever I used to cry, you used to help me. Then Era gets up to leave, and Liftoil says, shall we sleep on the same bed today? Hearing this, Era is badly shocked and starts to imagine Liftoil sleeping with her forcefully and cuddling her. Thinking this, she kicks Liftoil hard and leaves from there, and he remains there crying. Then, in the morning, when they were both going to school, Era is angry with Liftoil because he had not told her that they are such close relatives. Liftoil says, I thought you knew, so I didn't tell you. Then, coming to school, Era tells all this to Spoil. So Spoil says, we were removing Liftoil from the suspect list, but it's possible he is the smiling bear. To which Era says, it's better if he is not, because I have never seen him as a partner. Then they both are having lunch when Liftoil messages her and irritates her by sending pictures with a dog filter and sometimes a teddy bear filter. Era gets very angry, but Liftoil is enjoying all this a lot. In the next scene, Era goes to Play after lunch. Play calls her honey, which makes her very happy. Play treats her very differently. Just then, the ghost girl passes by and Play says, hey ghost girl. Then he tells Era, see, I don't call everyone honey. Era becomes happy. A little later, Play gets a call and he calls that girl honey too. Era gets angry and leaves from there. When she goes to the club room, the whole room is being decorated with balloons because their club had completed 3 months. So Era goes to Gent, and Gent gives her a book, 50 Facts About Era. Reading it, Era gets angry. It says that Era likes 90s music but never sings and never laughs at jokes. But Era likes it a lot. She feels special that Gent wrote a book especially for her, but a little later, Gent gives such fact books to everyone because he had kept them for everyone. At that moment, Era becomes sad and thinks that all this was not for me. Gent is kind to everyone, and Gent was also paying for the entire party. Then the party starts, and everyone enjoys a lot and also takes pictures. Just then, Alan is very sad because he has a balloon phobia. Then everyone starts scaring him with balloons, but Alan gets angry and tells them all to stop and goes outside angrily. Gent apologizes to him for everyone. Then Era goes to him and apologizes to him and tells him, we should control our phobia, not make it a weakness. Hearing this, Alan also relaxes, and then they all make Pac lie down, take off his shirt, and start scaring him with a cockroach because he has a cockroach phobia. And he starts screaming very loudly, and everyone makes a video of him. Then they show him the video, and he also starts laughing. Gent and Play start laughing seeing Era's dance because she was dancing very funnily. Then she goes to the tape recorder to change the song, and due to an electric shock, she starts shaking. But those 3 boys think that she is dancing, and they also start practicing the same. But Sky feels something is wrong, gets up, and pushes Era. Then Gent catches her from behind and saves her. Everyone tells Pac, you saved Era's life today, your points have increased. Here, Spoil and Era are both sad because their exams are about to happen. Then Alan helps them prepare for the exams and makes them study late. So Spoil starts to feel sleepy, to which Alan tells her to focus on the books. Alan makes them study a lot, so Era also helps him with his dialogue. Then, they are both going home when they see boating in front of them. They both start boating, and when she gets tired of boating, Alan starts fanning her with his hand. Just then, she gets a call from Sky, and Sky asks her to eat at a hotel because Sky got that food for free. When he was doing photography, the owner there said, you can have the food because you have done very good photography. In the next scene, Era is doing a job in which she has to reply to an unknown person. They tell her their problems. When she is solving her customer's problem, she gets a message from the smiling bear, and he tells her, I like a girl, and I don't understand how to tell her. To which Era doesn't say anything, just asks for the location. So he says, gym, which makes Era suspect Pac, because only he goes to the gym. The next day, when Spoil, Era, and Pac are sitting in the club room, Spoil says to Pac, I think Era is getting healthier. She should go to the gym. To which Pac says, yes, she is, and I can provide gym training. To which they both agree because it is Spoil's idea that if Era goes to the gym, she can keep an eye on Pac to see if he is the smiling bear and also check his mobile. Then she goes to the gym, and Pak makes her do a lot of exercises, and she asks for his mobile on the pretext of listening to a song, to which Pak says the songs are already playing. Era becomes quiet. Then, after the exercise, Pak lifts Era and checks her weight and says, "You have lost a lot of weight in today's exercise." Era is surprised by this and comes out to eat and starts eating a lot of food. Just then, Play arrives. Era asks him, "What are you doing here?" To this, Play says, "My house is nearby," and then starts smiling seeing his and Era's same shirt. He gives her a flower, to which Era says, "I know you were taking this for prayer. So you brought flowers for there, not for me." To which Play smiles and then tells her, "Don't you worry. I will drop you home, but before that, you have to go somewhere else with me." Then he takes her on a bike and says, "When a girl agrees to sit with a boy on a bike, it means that the girl likes that boy." To which Era says, "Whoever told you this lied because nothing like that happens." Then he takes her to pray. Seeing Era praying with her eyes closed, Play feels very good, and Era says, "I am surprised to see you here because I didn't think a boy like you could come here." So Play says, "Am I a very bad boy?" Era says, "No, that's not what I meant." Then he calls a child there, takes a pen from her, and gives her extra money. And he tells Era, "Whenever I come, I help increase the children's sales and give them extra money." This impresses Era a lot. And then, going home, she is thinking about Play while looking at the pen given by him. Just then, her eyes fall on a book, on which book is the picture of the most intelligent student of the class, Alan. Seeing it, she starts thinking about Alan. Seeing Liftoil's family tree, she also starts to remember Liftoil. And then, seeing her own photo, she also starts to remember Gent's photography. Then she has a music recorder in her hand that Sky had given her. Seeing it, she also starts thinking about Sky. When she comes to the mirror to see herself, the shirt from Neo is kept there, which makes her think about Neo too. Seeing the water gun reminds her of Pak, and she starts thinking about him too. Now she had started to love all 7 boys a little bit, so she gets confused. Then she records in her diary, "I want to find out about the smiling bear as soon as possible so that all this can be cleared up." In the next scene, Pak and Era are playing football because Era is bored with the gym. But Pak sees that Era has no interest in the gym either. While playing with the ball hits her hand, and Pak comes to her, checks her hand, and tells her, "I'm sorry, I will do all your work and also help you until your hand gets better." But Era says, "It's okay." Then Pak starts to get closer to Era, and both of them start to feel a lot of attraction. He is looking at Era with love, so Era lowers her eyes. Then, when she is sitting in the club, Alan comes and asks about Era's finger. When Era tells him, he quickly brings a spray and sprays it on her finger. Just then, Pak comes with all of Era's things. Seeing Pak helping Era in this way, Alan does not feel good, and he becomes sad. Then Pak picks up all of Era's things and comes to drop her home and says, "I have helped you so much, you should give me a treat." Era cannot refuse this, and they both go to eat. They enjoy a lot. Then Era calls Spoil and tells her, so she says, "You have started to like all the boys, so what will happen to the smiling bear?" Just then, a message from the smiling bear comes, saying, "Take a bath before sleeping, drink warm milk, and use your mobile in dark mode so that your eyes don't get damaged." Era gets angry reading this. She says, "Don't tell me. I know everything," and puts the mobile down. In the next scene, all the boys start missing Era seeing something or the other of hers. Alan misses Era seeing 2 couples. Play misses her seeing the pen he gave to Era. Pak remembers her while playing tennis. And Liftoil remembers Era seeing flowers. Sky remembers Era seeing the fan. Gent thinks about Era while eating candies. And Neo remembers Era while eating ice cream. This means all 7 boys have started to love Era. The next day, when Era goes to school, there is herbal juice in her locker, which the smiling bear has sent so that you stay fresh and can write well in your paper. As soon as Spoil tastes the juice, it is very bitter. So Spoil gives Era an idea. "We will make all the boys drink this juice." The one who has no reaction means he is the smiling bear. She takes the juice to all the boys and says, "Era's mom made it for all the boys so that you all do well in your exams." All the boys drink the juice well and show no reaction so that Era's mom doesn't feel bad. She sent it for us with so much love. This makes Spoil and Era very confused, and they go out angrily because even today they could not find out about the smiling bear. Era says, "From now on, I will ask myself who the smiling bear is." So Spoil also supports her. The next day, their exams start. Era does very well in the exam because Alan had prepared them very well. She thanks Alan in her mind and becomes happy. Then she comes out and meets Alan and thanks him. Alan also tells her, "The teacher has given a topic to all the club heads. If we are not able to complete this project, the club will be taken away from us." Hearing this, Era gets worried, and Alan relaxes her and asks her, "Are you coming to the party given by Gent?" So she says, "No, I have to focus on my project." Then Spoil comes and starts convincing Era to go to the party, but Era does not agree. On the day of the party, Neo calls Era and says, "Our theme is on 90s music, and for that, you will be the best couple with me." Era agrees. Neo goes live and starts dancing, but Era doesn't do it at first. Then, hearing about the 90s couple, she also starts dancing a lot with Neo, due to which they both get tired and reach the party place by rickshaw. At the party, everyone is very happy and drinking, and they laugh at Alan because Alan is drinking milk. Then Play goes on stage and says, "I can only play the guitar. Will Era help me with singing?" So Era refuses. Sky also says that she should sing at night, to which Era says, "You do it yourself," and Sky gets up and goes to sing. Everyone cheers him up, except Play, because Play wanted to perform with Era. Sky sings in a very beautiful voice, and everyone drinks. Era also drinks. Spoil and the ghost girl are vomiting a lot. They go to the washroom. Spoil asks all the boys questions about Era one by one, but still cannot guess who the smiling bear is. The next day, Era calls Spoil and says, "I found it very impressive yesterday. From now on, we don't have to do any investigation about the smiling bear." To which Spoil does not listen to her and cuts the call. All the members of the club sit and discuss which topic they should make a project on, but the three of them don't understand anything and get up and leave. Era also comes out, and there she sees her old crush, P-Gun, seeing whom she is shocked, and they both greet each other. After asking about each other's well-being, Era goes home, and going home, she records in her diary, "Should I feel good about meeting P-Gun or not?" Then, in the past, it is shown how they both used to like each other, and P-Gun also used to drop her home. They had a very good bonding, which Era starts to consider love, and one day, when she asks P-Gun, he says, "I have never seen you in that way." This hurts Era a lot. For the present, she thinks, "I will not get into all this again." And then she also blocks the smiling bear, and, going to school, also puts a lock on her locker so that no one can put anything inside it again. She does not want to be hurt again. The next day, they are again discussing their project, where Liftoil says, "Let's make a modern film on 90s music, in which there is one heroine and many heroes." Hearing this, Era likes this idea a lot. Then he goes and tells all the boys, "We need your help in the project." At first, they refuse, but then they agree. Here, Era flatly refuses to be the heroine, so Spoil has to become the heroine under compulsion. Spoil sits down to give the scene, and she sits wearing glasses. Just then, it is found out that Spoil's eyesight is weak, so she cannot do the shooting. Then, under compulsion, Era has to become the heroine. First, she gives a scene with Gent, and Gent touches her face. He also removes the hair that has come on her face, which makes them both shy, and the scene becomes romantic. Next comes Alan's scene, in which Alan kisses Era's hand. When Pac's turn comes, he lifts Era. Just then, their faces come close to each other, and Era feels shy. Then Play comes for the shooting, and he sees that Era is tired of shooting, so he starts doing things on his own, deviating from the script, which Era enjoys. When Liftoil's turn comes, Liftoil keeps the kiss scene for himself for his video, and is about to kiss Era during the shooting, when Spoil says, "Cut." The scene is complete. Neo's turn comes. They both go skating. While skating, Era is about to fall, so Neo catches her and brings her close to him. In the end, it is Sky's turn. At first, they both start fighting. Then they dance together as shown in the video. Finally, all their shooting is complete. The next day, Era is going to school with her bike driver when Era falls due to a collision with a car. Just then, P-Gun arrives and lifts Era. He asks, "Are you hurt?" and holds her hand, blows on it, and puts on a bandage. Someone is watching them both from a distance. Then he tells Era, "I will drop you to school," and as always, he says, "After school, text me when you reach home." Era doesn't say anything and quietly leaves from there. In class, she keeps thinking about P-Gun. Coming home, she's also thinking about P-Gun and then unblocks him. As soon as she unblocks him, his messages start coming. He asks about her health and Era replies to him. Just then, her mother says, "Sky has come to meet you." She puts the mobile down and goes. At first, she starts fighting with him. Then Sky says, "You are not as hurt as much noise Liftoil made that Era had an accident." Then he gives her the gifts brought by Gent, which Era accepts. Even after that, she keeps thinking about P-Gun. Just then, P-Gun calls her to meet at a place. She goes there and is also very happy and thinks, what could happen? Maybe our love story will be complete again. And a little later, P-Gun gives her a card, which is an invitation card. Seeing it, Era is very happy. He also gives a card for Sky because Sky was also his old friend. When Era opens that card, it is P-Gun's wedding card. Seeing it, she is shocked. She remains sitting, worried. Then she goes to Sky and gives him the card. Seeing it, Sky says, "You should come out of all this now, and you must go to his wedding, so that you can tell him that you're very strong. It didn't affect you at all." At first, Era refuses. Then Sky says, "I will also go with you to give you courage." so she agrees. Going to school, she tells Spoil, I want to go to the forest where no one is. I am very sad. And Spoil tells this to everyone. All those friends together make a forest camp themselves to surprise Era. Then they call Era, and she becomes very happy. She thanks them all for taking so much care of her, for caring about her feelings. Then they enjoy a lot there. When Era goes home, her mother tells her that Liftoil's mother is having surgery, so you should talk to him. Then she talks to Liftoil and gives him courage. But Liftoil is very worried at the forest camp. Era goes to him and tells him, don't you worry. Liftoil says, the doctors have told my mother about another surgery, and he gets very worried and starts crying. Then Era hugs him. Outside, everyone is enjoying. Then they all lie down outside and look at the sky because the stars are very clear and they are all very happy. Era says, from today onwards, there will be no borderline in our club room because we are all very good friends. In the next scene, Alan is standing in the washroom when a boy comes and starts taking his picture, for which Alan tells him not to, and he starts running. Alan chases him, hits him a lot, and that boy runs away. Then, all the friends come and ask him and relax him. This news spreads throughout the school, and the principal removes Alan from the position of model boy because Alan was called a model student, and they also remove all the posters, due to which Alan is sad. Era gives him courage and tells him to relax. Spoil tells Era, I am dating a boy on an online app. Maybe I will get into a relationship. To which Era says, you should be careful with everything. I don't believe in all these apps. In the next scene, a girl comes in front of Play and says, we should break up. To which Play says, when were we ever in a relationship that we have to break up? At this, that girl starts crying and says, the way I talk to you, I have never talked to anyone like that. You have played with my feelings. And she leaves from there. Here, Liftoil's mother's surgery is going on. Era is sitting with Liftoil in the hospital. Liftoil is very worried. Just then, the doctor comes and tells them that the surgery was successful. So Liftoil gets emotional and starts crying. Era hugs him. When Era comes home, her mother asks, how is Liftoil's mother now? So Era tells her condition is still the same. So her mother says, someone has come to meet you. When she goes, it is Sky. He asks her to go to P-Gun's wedding, but she refuses. On his insistence, she remains quiet, and at night, she records in her diary, how can I go to the wedding of the person I loved so much? And she becomes sad. In the next scene, Era goes to P-Gun's wedding. Sky also goes with her. Then, they take photos. While taking photos, as soon as P-Gun puts his hand on Era's shoulder, she was about to cry but controls herself and comes out. P-Gun also comes out after her. Seeing her sad, he asks, what happened to you? To this, Era says, nothing. Then he asks them, when are you two getting married? To which Era is shocked. She asks, what do you mean? He says, when will you two get married? Because Sky told me that he likes you. So Era says, it's nothing like that. I don't know about all this. To which he says, he hasn't confessed to you yet? In a past scene, P-Gun tells everything. Once when I was sitting, Sky came to me and asked me if I liked Era. I said I do too. So I said that I can leave her for your and Era's happiness. For you. So I broke up with you because of Sky. Otherwise I liked you a lot. The last time you refused me, I cried a lot because I loved you. But I left you for Sky and your happiness. At this, Era is shocked and doesn't understand what to say. Just then, Sky comes from above. P-Gun gets up and leaves. Here, Spoil sees her online boyfriend and is shocked because the picture she had seen and the reality were very different. But she has to go on a date with him. At first, their time goes well, but when he is dropping her off in the car at night, her boyfriend misbehaves with her. So Spoil quickly escapes from there, getting away safety. She calls Era saying, I have to tell you something. Era says, I also have to tell you something. Then they both meet and tell each other the whole story. Spoil says, this means the smiling bear is Sky. Era's behavior towards Sky changes, and Sky also notices this. He tells her, why are you behaving like this with me? Do you want to ask me something? So Era gathers courage and asks, do you still like me? Because P-Gun told me everything. Sky says, yes, I used to love you, and I was the one who told P-Gun. But when I told you told me that you don't even want to walk with me. After that, I stopped chasing you and also stopped loving you. But Era does not remember all this. She is shocked and becomes sad. Just then, their group member who is very pretty, whose name is Grace, comes. Sky starts looking at her, which Era notices, but Grace quietly leaves from there. Now Sky starts to like Grace, and he follows her. Here, Spoil is also very worried, and she tells this to Liftoil. My boyfriend misbehaved with me like this. Just then, her boyfriend comes in front of them, and Liftoil starts to beat him and gets angry at him and says, how dare you misbehave with my friend? Spoil stops him, but Liftoil refuses and says, I like you. I cannot tolerate any boy doing this. At this, Spoil is shocked and says to him, are you kidding me? But Liftoil says, I am serious. I like you, and I want to marry you. At this, Spoil feels shy and leaves from there. Here, everyone prepares for Era's birthday and gives her a surprise. Gent plans the entire surprise for her. Then Era comes and is very happy and thanks everyone. They all enjoy the birthday party, dance, and then eat. Neo tells her, I have to complete a story. While practicing dialogue with Era, he starts to kiss her, due to which all the boys are shocked, and Era gets angry. The next day, Neo apologizes to Era for kissing her. Spoil tells Era, Liftoil likes me, and we are dating. This makes Era very happy, and she gives them both her blessings. Sky also gets busy with his girlfriend, Grace. The next day, Era looks at her locker and sees that the smiling bear has spilled some glue while putting something there, so there is glue on the floor. Era thinks, whichever boy has glue on his feet is the smiling bear. When she goes to Pak, there is glue on his shoes. She asks him, do you put gifts in my locker? To this, Pak says yes, and she asks him why. He says, I like you. That's why I put them in the locker so that you feel good. I don't do all this in front of you because I don't know how you will react and you might refuse me. At this, Era is shocked and asks him, do you message me from the ID? So Pak says no, and she is shocked and thinks the one who puts the gifts is one smiling bear and the one who messages is another. Then she goes out and calls that smiling bear. Just then, someone comes and says, I am that smiling one, and it is none other than Neo, which shocks Era. Neo says, I am the one who messages you because I like you a lot, and I didn't want to do all this in front of you so that you wouldn't feel bad. At this, Era is not surprised, and she sits down sadly. Then she tells the whole thing to Spoil. Spoil is also shocked, but Era is sad because she is not having any feelings for either of them. So she thinks, what should I say to these two? Then she tells Pak, can't we just be friends? This hurts him a lot, and he says, I like you a lot. Era remains quiet. Then she says the same thing to Neo. Can't we just be friends? This hurts Neo too. And Pak goes home and starts crying, and Neo is also in a very bad state. He also cries a lot because they both liked Era, and Era had refused them. Then Alan tells Era, our club is about to end because we have fewer members and our video has flopped. At this, Era gets sad, and they have a last party in which everyone is very happy. Sky with his girlfriend, Liftoil with Spoil, and Play introduces everyone to his new girlfriend. He is also very happy. They all take pictures. Here, Pak and Neo have also moved on from Era. And then Alan gives them a party at which he tells everyone that he has got a sponsor from the college, so he is going out of the country, for which everyone is very happy. At the same place, Gent also tells them that he is also going out of the country for business, which shocks Era, and she becomes sad. Going home, she cries a lot. Spoil consoles her, but she says, I don't understand why I am feeling so bad. The next day when she goes to school, she sees posters there because now there are Gent's posters in place of Alan's, and she smiles seeing the posters and says, why do I feel like I'm starting to love Gent? And Gent overhears all this, and he also confesses his love. Both are very happy. Seeing them happy, all their friends also give them blessings. Alan also introduces them to his girlfriend on a video call, and Play had also improved now. Pak focuses all his attention on his work, and Neo becomes a very big singer. Here, Gent comes to Era's house to propose to her, and both spend time with each other, and this is the happy ending of the drama.